has started.
Hello, this is Mike Lanier from the CarShowNationals.com Let's Roll podcast with my buddy, two of my buddies. This is great. With Jeff Thisted from the Hot Rod Power Tour.
Hey, guys.
Not going to say anything about that. And then my buddy Ed Golden from Golden Customs. He was one of my first co-hosts, and I working with Jeff now, but we're going to do some maybe once in a while. Hopefully,
That's
right?
cool, man.
Right.
Yeah, I always got your back. I love to see what you guys been doing. It's been kind of crazy, for me because like we're trying to build this car for SEMA, and I have another project now that I may sneak in front of it. But with all this COVID thing, and it's definitely impacted the shop. I probably lost one really good job that I really hate to see go. But other than that, it's bounced back pretty good, But I took the time to renovate the shop a little. We built a new upholstery area. I built a new wood shop, organizing a little bit. But it's definitely been challenging. But taking that, I figured let's take a bad time and do the stuff I always wanted to do. Even though we're not really slow, I'm still busy. But it's not like it went from like insanely ridiculous busy to just insanely busy. It's still busy, but I had to force myself to. To do this because now the shop's even now we're not even finished totally, and the shop just operates so much better, so much smoother. So it worked out good. My neighbor is a window tint guy named James Tint, and he needed a small part of my shop because my shop kind of jutted into his shop a little bit because I used to have the whole building detailing everything, and I gave him a part of my building that he needed, so it was good.
All right. I lost you for a second, but I don't know if Jeff saw that or not. But
I'm still here. So what car are you working on for? You said you're working on this car for SEMA. What is this car?
Well, it's
Are you there?
I'm a big Camaro fan. My first car was a '79 Camaro, and '79 Camaro Trans Am, like that generation, I was always a sucker for, no matter what. And I wanted to build like a modern rat rod. So I'm taking the '79 platform and I'm building a kind of a modern rat rod out of it. I'm doing I'll let it slip a little now that it may not happen this year, but hopefully next year. I'm basically.
What do you mean may not?
Well,
what do you mean may not?
It's canceled.
My brain is still hopeful.
Right, mine too. I yelled at everybody. Oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So anyway, it's basically a '70s Camaro. It's an interesting take on a '70s Camaro, modern rat roddy kind of a mix. It's crazy, big wide body, open fender. It's going to be super interesting. A couple things that I don't want to say haven't been done before, but I haven't seen them. So new to me. You know what I mean?
Open fender like an Indy car open fender?
Yeah,
but you said.
Yeah, like you would see like a modern rat rod, someone that ripped off their front end, but we're gonna have like half a front end. It's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna kind of have like when they say that maybe that Indy car, like those trucks with those big tires that come out. Yep. I don't know if they call that whatever they would call that look. I know it's like a modern-y rat roddy type of thing. So it's gonna have that open fender, big wide body. I had a guy do a rendering of it, but he really didn't do it justice. But I kind of used that to show a couple sponsors, because what was in my head, I could draw it on a piece of. Well, okay, so I can't believe I'm showing this, but
Mike, it's a Car Show Nationals exclusive.
Yeah, that's a paper rendering, very quick that I was thinking of doing.
His drawing has gotten better since SEMA. I swear.
You can see that on eBay later on today. All the proceeds going to charity. That reminds me, the Hoonicorn, Ken Block's the '65 Mustang with the twin turbos that went up Pikes Peak.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with four-wheel drive.
Yeah. It looks like that from the profile.
Yeah, well, when you see what I'm doing, it's going to be a little different. But you know what? Like for me, I build cars for customers, and a lot of them have their ideas and their plans, and I love being involved in it, and I have a little bit of artistic license. The dumb, crazy shit that I kind of want to do. So I see these guys building these rat rods, and I like admire the freedom they have so much. And I was like, well, shit, if I'm building a car, I'm going to just build it exactly how I want it. You're either going to love it or hate it. You're not going to be in the middle. You're either going to be like, this is my favorite car, or I want to set it on fire. And that's kind of what I want. I want that reaction. Because if you make everybody happy, then you're kind of playing it safe. And most of the cars I build, I kind of have to because I have somebody else's vision to keep in mind.
So is this car for you? Are you going to keep it? Or is it a sponsor car? Or is it a customer car?
My car. So
Okay.
I don't know if I'll ever sell it. It would have to be a pretty penny for someone to offer me, But, the value of it done is worth more than selling it necessarily. I've had a couple cars that we did for ourselves that we got offered big, big money for. And it was always the right decision to keep them, to have them do the work that the car needs to do. Rather than build it, you get the money, and then you could start another project, obviously. But, sometimes you got to let them breathe a little bit. And so this one I plan on keeping, at least until someone offers me something ridiculous for it.
That's so funny you said that, because it's like everybody asks, in my mind, I love my car, and I would never sell it. But if the price is right, everything is for sale if the price is right.
Exactly.
So my brother's father-in-law said, somebody just kept on adding zeros to the check, Jeff. I couldn't turn him down. It's like, that's a good problem to have. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been there before where people go, no, you don't understand. And I think, sometimes people with money, if they want something, they know their money's a tool, And one of the first cars I built a Corvette, and the first, it was a C5. I think it was a 2000. It was all fire. As a matter of fact, it's right here. It's all fiberglass and crazy. I don't know if you can see it, but it was way over the top, but we built it with a couple companies in mind. They were sponsoring us, so I kind of made it a little more gaudy than I wanted it to. The first show we went to, a tire company came to us, and the guy offered me a shit ton of money for the car. And he said, has it ever been shown before? I said, no. He said, this is the first show. I said, yes. The show wasn't even open yet. And he said, I am only allowed to give you this much money because my boss is overseas. And it was a big number. So it's actually funny. I called my mother, of all people. I said, Ma, you're never going to guess. Because, from your family, when I was a little younger, when you put all that effort into a car, people think you're crazy. But even though I didn't want to sell it, the value that was put on it was like, it's like, oh, there you go. Like, see what it's worth? All that time is worth. But I decided to not sell it, even though
Really?
Yeah, I almost threw up from the money he was offering me, but somehow inside of me, I knew it was going to be more important than that money, and it was. It got magazine covers. As a matter of fact, me and my buddy who built it, we were like, oh, hopefully we get the car in a magazine, right? Because back then, that's all you wanted to do was be in a magazine. There really was no internet to speak of. And the first show we went to, we had magazines fighting over the cover. Magazines that didn't even guarantee covers. As a matter of fact, it did the cover of Performance Auto and Sound, and then Mobile Entertainment, which was Road and Track's version of a cardio magazine. They wanted to shoot it for a cover. And the guy said to me, he goes, well, we'll shoot the car for a cover. We don't guarantee covers. We'll give you a cover. And I said, well, hey, man, I just gave this guy my word that I was going to go with him. And he goes, yeah, but we're Mobile Entertainment. Like, we're the big boys. And they were big too. But I said, well, I shook his hand. And he goes, so you telling me you're not going to give us the cover? I was like, I can't do it. I gave this guy my word. I want it to mean something. And the guy looked at me and he goes, boy, I respect your decision. He goes, I think you're stupid, but he goes, I have to respect you have your word, and then that will mean something, So the car did a lot for us going forward from there. It got us a ton of jobs. Like, I couldn't even go anywhere without that car making me money. It's really what it came down to, because that's what it was. It was a promotional tool. And I realized that how powerful it was once it was finished. I didn't necessarily see it when I was building it, because that may have clouded my build. So the passion for how I wanted to build it physically was my vision. Then I got the corporate end of it, which meant candy paint and make it super flashy, which I really didn't agree with. But the build I still liked. But then once I realized how many people, like, we were there with a DLS, which is a company I still deal with today. and they had flyers for the whole weekend for 4 days of Spring Break Nationals, and they got rid of the flyers in 45 minutes because the car got that much attention. So at that point, I said, okay, there's something happening here. And then, again, that's when it made sense to just keep, we won a ton of shows. We won every show I think we went to, Best of Show. And that translated into a lot more money down the road. And it was also an anchor to me starting my career as someone who builds cars, so.
Well, I so admire that you wouldn't take the money. You wanted to keep it for yourself. That says a lot. And then you kept your word about the magazine thing. Because that's sort of how I don't get rid of things. I'm a sentimental idiot.
Yeah,
and I'm not calling you an idiot.
I tell you that, right? You'd be like, "Why you hold that?" I'd be like, "Well, my friend had, so."
That's it. Everything has a story, and I love the stories, and they become a part of you, and to not lose sight of that and to keep it around. Do you still have it?
No, I eventually sold it. I sold it. Well, it's funny. I actually had one guy that bought a couple vehicles from me, and I bought it after 3 years.
Yeah.
This might be his internet. His internet's not the best. We lost you for a second there, Ed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where did you lose me?
When you were starting to explain the guy that purchased.
Yeah. Okay.
Cars.
Well, long story short, one gentleman bought the car. After 3 years, we won every show we could go to. The car did so much for us, and it was like I started to create enemies locally because we won so much that people got angry when we showed up at shows. So then we started. Yeah, we started not competing in the show and just showing the car and not being part of the show. That helped. But then it was time to start doing something different. So after the third year with the car, we let it go. And I still got I got probably 75% of what I was offering for it originally. So I still got good money. The car held up. It drove. It wasn't a trailer queen. I had a guy tell me, he goes, "Oh, it'd be nice if I could have a trailer queen like this." And I told him, I said, I had this car up to like 130, 140 yesterday. So it's not a trailer queen.
Okay, so you drove. That was my next question. Did you drive it?
Yeah, I drove the shit out of it. Excuse my French. Yeah, I
good.
Car. I lent that car to friends of mine. Like if one of the guys that worked for me wanted to take a girl out, they would show up and I just like, here are the keys, Like for me, I let people sit in the car. I let people take pictures in it. I let kids hang all over it. And where other people were gating their cars off, we were beating them. We were beating them the way I wanted to do it, where involving the people at the car shows was most important.
Right?
Keep losing people. Oh man.
Well,
and your car, because of that car, I don't know if Jeff knows the story, but who did you meet because of that car?
Oh well, yeah, that's kind of what got the Chip Foose overhaul and thing started. We have been asked to do it a couple times from like different people that had some connection to the show. I don't even know who they were. And then a lady came up to us at a show in Jersey. I think it was a Funk Master Flex show. And she goes, "Oh, I want my husband to see this car." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then here comes Chip Foose, and I was like, "Oh my God, this car is gaudy. It's not what he would like. Oh, this is so embarrassing." And then I said to him, I said, "Out of all the things I've done, this probably isn't the one I want you to see." Now, keep in mind that show, we had, I think, 7 or 8 other cars, and we won best in every class we were in. Like, it was Golden Gloves was first, Golden Gloves, so it sounded good over the loudspeaker. But to Chip Foose, I was like, oh, he's going to think this thing is cheesy, And he goes, no, there's actually some really innovative things here. I like it a lot. And, and then he said, "You ever thought about doing overhauling?" And I told him, I said, "Yeah, I met this producer and this lady." And, so we lose Jeff again?
Jeez, we've never had this many connection problems. I'm going to complain.
He's back. So, yeah,
he's back.
Well, long story short, Foose came over to the car. He liked it. He asked me about overhauling. And then he said, "Draw a couple of versions of what you would do in a car for my show." So I did something more like what he would appreciate rather than what he was looking at. And then we wound up getting the Leno's Heist was the episode we did. So, indirectly, it's funny you look at like the butterfly effect of how little decisions you make can go good or bad, So where I'm at right now, I have my things I would have done differently if I could have 2020, but You know, at the end, it's happy.
And better internet. No.
Right? Well, I know
Well,
right
at my
now.
shop, I have really good internet. At my house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, see, I'm in Colorado right now, my pops, and we've got great internet, but I turned it off a little bit ago, and the LTE isn't around. It's 4G. And that's because I think there's 4 or 5 fires in the state. Half of the state is burning.
Oh, wow. It's crazy
geez.
out there, right?
It's great. And I just saw online that over the weekend, Death Valley hit 130 degrees, the third
Yeah, I
highest
saw that
temperature
too.
ever recorded in the history of the world. It's
That's
like that. It's crazy. We got fires. We got this whatever this other crap is, and then we've got the heat wave. It's
Yeah.
good times. All right.
Yeah, it's real scary.
2020. Let's move to 2021. I'm ready.
Immediately. Jeez.
Yeah, let's hope 2021's better than this.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're not going to see anyone at SEMA. You know, we all look forward to it, and it's just
SEMA's done. The Power Tour's been canceled. I just learned that the Good Guys at Dallas Fort Worth show is canceled.
Well, someone told me, Jeff, that I thought Good Guys canceled all their shows going forward, but now I lost Jeff again. We never have this much trouble, I swear. We never have this much trouble. It must be Ed just spreading the internet love.
No,
Gotta be it.
My signal is actually pretty good right now. I'm looking at it.
Yeah. You're coming in good. I don't know.
So is your shop? Are you a one-stop shop? Because you said you just moved the upholstery inside.
Yeah,
You got the tint guys. So is that you got paint, body, everything is one stop?
Yeah, pretty much. I pretty much do everything. Myself,
That's awesome.
I've been painting cars since I was 15. I do custom interiors, everything all handmade. I have someone that comes in, does the upholstery, Melanie, that does the stitching. I have Justin, who helps me with the body work, with the metal work. But we do full builds, interior, exterior, engine, drive lines, wiring, pretty much everything. I got frustrated trying to send work around because I just would get disappointed. And then my customers would get mad at me if somebody else did something wrong. And there's a lot of he said, she said, like if there's 5 people involved in the job, oh, he was supposed to do this. And the reason I couldn't do this is because he did that. And, sometimes I'll work with outside shops, but it's usually very rare. I only really will unless I have to. Like right now, we're putting a Mustang together for a gentleman, and he had someone build a motor for him, which I do build motors, but I don't like to. I build trans if I don't like to. So we're, with him, we're going to install the engine, install the drive line, and then I'm going to hand him the keys and a fresh battery and say, okay, you start it, your motor, But, there are good people out there, but I just found that it was so easy to get the communication between 2 to 3 different people. It was very hard to come together. So I do as much as I can in-house. Absolutely.
It's like I remember you mentioned Chip Foose earlier, and it's like one of the reasons they can build a car in 7 days is because of his little cul-de-sac. I mean, he's got his shop, and he's got the upholstery shop, the paint shop. He's got all of his friends right around there, and they can push the car right over to anywhere. Done. It's amazing stuff. But you've got to trust the people you're you're forming it out to.
Yeah, and that's the thing. What's different with overhauling is it's Chip Foose. He's got all his contacts there. He's got people that are going to work morning, noon, and night for him. And like when we did the episode, we were part of probably 30 people that were all super talented and all super motivated and all don't want to let down Chip or look bad on TV. There's a lot of factors there. That makes a 7-day build realistic. Like I was talking to him, and it was like 3 a.m. It was just me and him, and I was like, "So we got 4 days left, and this car looked like someone dropped an atom bomb on it." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "And this one's for Leno, so we really got to be on time." And I was like, "Oh my god." Being one of the last guys in the car is also sketchy. Me and the upholstery guy, it was pretty scary.
Oh boy. Okay, we're all back. This is
all right,
crazy.
Good.
We have like the video virus going on or something.
That's okay. Listen, it's during the COVID times. We can get away with some technical difficulties, right?
Oh man. But yeah, I mean, he's worked with a lot of people, Jeff. Mike Rowe. name a few.
We,
Mike Rowe.
we just did another episode with Mike Rowe for the Returning the Favor, the same show. We did a second episode now. With
Nice.
my neighbor James did a rap, and we did on this one. We didn't go crazy. We just helped them they need a car done in 2 days, and they were like, "Can you help us?" And yep, and we got it done. I actually got it done early, believe it or not.
Let's say I've heard from so many Hollywood producers and people that produce TV shows. Well, Overhauling does it in 7 days, and so can we. It's like no, you can't. They are the anomaly. They can do it because again, he's got the cul-de-sac and he's got his list of people, and they're super talented. He's 1/10 of 1%, and nobody else can get that stuff done.
Yeah, like if Chip Foose calls, Joe from Joe's Body Shop at 1 a.m. and says, "Oh shit, you got to open the doors for me. We have a problem." Joe's going to get up and do it, and there's not going to be a question, And
Joe's going to do it right.
Yeah, but that's the thing with Chip. Chip is the for me, what's impressive about Chip, obviously aside from his art and his talent, is he treats people really well, and I think over the long haul that becomes very important. I saw Chip being very nice to people in a very stressful situation with a ton of things going wrong, and Chip's just polite, and he's just, okay, well, let's figure it out. Okay, let's do. And I'm sitting there going, most people would turn into an asshole in this situation. But because Chip, the way he treats people, we came in from going to see a comedy show at 4 or 3 in the morning. And I was like, I can't sleep. Let's go to the shop. If anyone's there working, because we had nothing to do. There was no work to do. We were sweeping the floor. What else could we do? So I said to the guys, let's just stop at a shop, see if anybody's there. If they're working, I'm putting on my work clothes and going back to work. So I walk in, and it was Chip doing body work on the bottom of the Nomad, like a rocker panel. And I remember thinking, here's Chip Foose, arguably the best guy in the world that does this, right? The most respected. And he's on the ground at 3 in the morning doing body work on a rocker panel. That should have been someone else's job, right? And I was like, oh, shit, you here? Let's put on my clothes, and we started working. But it was really nice to have that. For me, it was nice to have that time at night because the cameras weren't there, and it was just a couple guys working on a car. And that's what I love about my business. So I got to do that next to Chip without the stress. I heard a couple of really funny jokes and a couple of things that I probably didn't expect to have that moment with him. So it was cool. And again, like I said, he treats people with so much respect. He keeps a sense of humor right through the scary part of the job, which a lot of people crack at that moment. So to me, that's what I appreciate about him.
Well, yeah, and for him to keep his cool in that kind of environment, to me it translates. I've seen him at SEMA, and at SEMA he's almost as big as Mike Lanier is at SEMA. He's got his entourage around him, but he'll stop for anyone, and he'll talk to you for a second, give an autograph. But he's, like you said, very gracious, and I don't know him like you do, but he's one of the rock stars.
Let's not confuse it. I'm not best friends with Chip Foose. I mean, you know what? Okay, so
you worked with him.
Yeah, at the first SEMA, we were there doing Dave Turn's truck from Gold Rush, right? And I was going on stage at the 11 cars picked to go on stage at SEMA. We were one of them. So I was walking down there, and I was nervous because I'm going on stage. There's 100 cameras. I'm, not that comfortable talking, And I see Chip Foose sitting in a golf cart by himself. And I look, and I'm like, Chip? I'm like, I think that's Chip. So I run over. And I'm like, oh, God, if he doesn't recognize me, it's going to kill my confidence. I'm going to go on stage. I'm going to blow it. So he looks at me, and he goes, oh, Ed Golden. He goes, I heard you here with some cool gold truck. I said, yeah, we're going on stage. The unveil, so I got to go, big shot. Meanwhile, Chip was the guy that was ahead of me. So it was a good
Chip
moment.
Was your opening act.
Well, you know what? We were supposed to go on second or third, I think. He was first. And then I walked up to the guys who had the stage, and I said, listen, how strong is this stage? Because the truck we have was a F550, I think, Super Duty with a crane. And then it's funny because my friend said to me, he goes, why'd you say anything? He said, if you would have put your truck on that stage and it collapsed, as you being the second person, it would have been the most viral thing that you ever would have seen. But they wound up putting us on, I think, 8th or 9th. It was cool. I mean, to be in that company, it was Kindig was there, West Coast Customs, a lot of other big guys were on that stage that day. So I was honored to be a part of it. It was a big moment.
Yeah, very cool. It reminds me of one of my friends from the Power Tour, Jim Adolph, used to be a funny car racer, and he told me he knows all these guys, yada yada yada. Yeah, sure, sure. John Force comes up on stage, and Jim's usually always over the toter. Jim shows up on the side of the stage. I'm like, hey man, what's going on? Just here to see my friend. Yeah, whatever. Force stops what he's doing, comes over. Shady Glenn, how are you? It's like totally legitimate. And Jim told me later, it's like Force remembers everyone from every time, no matter when he met you. It's like that sort of stuff amazes me. Yeah. It takes me repetition to remember who you are. So that's always amazed me.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's a nice feeling when someone that you admire remembers you or cares enough. Like he sent us like wheels for a car. We did a TV show at Funkmaster Flex, a competition. We won it, and he sent us the wheels and tires for it. And I was like, "This is from Foose. Like this, he sent me these tires. Like I didn't even want to put them on the truck. I just wanted to hold them and keep them. But it's listen. There are some celebrities that aren't what they say they are, aren't what they look like. And some celebrities let things go to their head, and I've met them too. And I've been lucky enough to become friendly with Paul Senior, and like real friendly, not just like, hey, how you doing? Like me and Chip I'm a vague acquaintance to Chip Foose. With Senior, I'm friendly with him, but when you get that, you get the real side of a person, which is like me or you or Mike. We have our moments, ups and downs, and it's funny. I know I was at the OCC one morning, and Senior said to me, he goes, "You want some breakfast?" I said, "What are you gonna go get? You gonna go get egg sandwich or something?" He goes, "No, I'm gonna make breakfast." I said, "You're gonna make me breakfast there?" So he made, and I gotta say this, he made really good scrambled eggs. And it was the funniest thing because I said to him, well, if this whole motorcycle building thing doesn't work out, you'll make a great short order cook, in situations like that where you meet people who you respect, like Mike Rowe is a sweetheart. I mean, like you meet Mike and you just now you understand in person. First of all, he's so sharp. He's so quick.
If he wasn't a sweetheart, I would have to punch him. I'm serious. He's one of my favorite hosts ever. Not only does he's got the magic voice. He's got the pauses. He's so dry and straight and the dirty. I mean, the stuff he gets into. Oh, I hold him in. He is amazing.
You know what's really funny about him? And I was talking to my guys at the shop because we talk about doing some TV, whatever. And I said, look at everything Mike says is usable. Every little thing he says they could use. So it's not like, I may say 10 things and I have one thing that's funny. Everything he says is funny. It just they have to decide what works, and he's so comfortable.
He gives great sound bites. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just just a sweetheart of a guy. But then again, I wouldn't mention who they are, but I've met some celebrities who believed a little bit too much of the hype, if you know what I mean. Yeah. If you start believing the crap that people tell you, and you never put yourself in an audience that loves you. Like comedians talk about that a lot. They play to a room that doesn't know them. Or some comedians will play to a room that loves them. You know what I mean? So I think some celebrities take it a little too far. Then you start to look at them like, no, you're not perfect. And then what you did here wasn't great. You kind of look for the problems. Where someone like Chip, you want everything to be great because he's such a great guy, So I've been very lucky to work with some really cool people. And it's not even just the celebrities, like the people in my life that, like Mike and people I met through SEMA who are, we lost Jeff again? He'll be back.
Oh, my gosh. There we go.
Sorry.
There he is.
It's quick, though. It comes back quick. Yeah, what I was saying was, listen, the celebrities and everything are great, but when you think about the people I met, and like I was just saying, like people like Mike, the relationship me and Mike have because of the car world, because of SEMA, all the people I get to walk up to and say, holy shit, how you been? that to me is really what's the most important. Celebrity stuff looks good on a website, and when they're really cool people, it's really refreshing to say, wow, you made it, and you kept your personality, and you're still a real down-to-earth person. But it's the everyday people that I remember that I appreciate, that I think about all the time. That's what this industry is really, what I find in this industry is valuable is the people I work with. Some of my customers are amazing, so it's cool.
Well, as much as I love SEMA, a bunch of years ago I walked and it's like, oh man, all right, I've seen that and I've seen that and I've seen that, and I just started to get down, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, but I haven't seen you. There's Mike, there's Ed. I mean, this is my car family, so it's and my car family is all together at certain places, and once you get them all together, it's the best thing ever.
Definitely special, yeah. It's and then it's funny. There are people I knew were at SEMA, I couldn't even run into them. Like, oh my God, wait, you're here, you're there, you're this, you're that. This year, we were supposed to see. Last year, we were supposed to see Carson Lev, who he's Chip Foose's right hand man. Carson could be one of the most interesting, energetic, just one of the most amazing people ever meet in your life. He's to me like a battery recharger. Like when I see him, I just get filled up with this weird power he possesses. And he's not a name that a lot of people in the industry know him, but not like a Chip Foose name. But when I have a chance, I missed seeing Carson, and I was like, shit, I feel like I really missed something. So then when this year it doesn't happen, you're like, wow, I was hoping to do this and do that and see this person. But you're right, it's definitely more about the people for me than it is the vehicles.
Yeah.
And that was a great podcast you did with him too, Ed. That was a good one. I watched that one.
Yeah, Carson.
Interesting
Carson
guy.
Have been friends for a long time. I kind of made Carson I forced him to be my mentor, even though he didn't want to in the beginning. I was like, hey, what do you think of? He helped me from making a bad decision with the TV show I was going to do, and he was asked me 5 key questions. And then I went and asked those questions to other people, and then things started to unravel, and I was like, whoa, I could have been in a bad spot with that. So it's nice just to have someone who has the experience that I could call him and say, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? But he's such a powerful person. I mean, I believe success happens when you surround yourself with people that are good, positive, supportive. That's what your friends really should all be about, is people that want to help you get to where you want to go,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've had so many, right? Yeah. I've had so many friends in the car, in other aspects, tell me, I just told her something and she wants to know how she can get the same job, and da-da-da. It's like, wait, she's not happy for you? Well, she didn't say congratulations or anything. She just went on to how it. So you want people to be happy for you and say there's enough success to go around for everyone.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. And
I had a gal ask me, how can I be famous?
Oh, see, and that's the last, in my mind, that's the last thing I want, because it's creepy when somebody points at you to say, hey, you're that guy from wherever. And it's like, dude, I don't know you from anywhere. And at SEMA years ago, I'm standing with Mike Mulholland, Troy Trepanier, and myself at the Eaton booth. And we got Troy's, the mother's, not the El Camino, what's that thing? The panel, the red mother's panel wagon with the Chinese knives. Yeah, the 59. Yeah. Anyway, Troy and I are standing there with Mike, and Chip Foose is across. He's got a 2-mile line long for autographs, and nobody knows who Troy is. And Troy's like, I'm thrilled. Nobody's bothering me. I don't have to wait. So it's an interesting dichotomy, because that's the last thing I would want, is to be famous.
That famous, yeah. Well, for me, we've had spurts of it. Locally, when Overhauling came out, people started to recognize me, and then the episode will come on again, and someone will notice me, and then we did the Funkmaster Flex thing, so it was kind of a little bit up and down. I've had a handful of weird situations where people like my I always say it's funny, my groupies are 60-year-old mechanics.
Right?
Boy band guys have girls chasing them. I have a mechanic. Aren't you that guy from, I had a guy, my best story is I was at a gas station by my shop, and it was probably 1:30 in the morning, 12:30, and this guy keeps looking at me funny, and I'm thinking, wait, did I lose you guys?
I'm here.
I'm still here.
Hello?
I think we lost
Oh,
Jeff.
you there?
I'm here.
Really weird.
That's
probably
he's
just,
back.
yeah, it's a service.
Don't even try to edit this one, Mike. Just let it roll. This one.
Let's roll. Exactly.
We're here.
So anyway, I was in a gas station. I told the story before. It was funny. This guy's looking at me, and he's looking over the potato chips at me, and I'm just like getting like a little like, what are you looking at? You know, I'm kind of looking back at him. And then I go around a corner, and he's peeking around the corner, and I'm like, all right, this guy's going to rob this place. I was so sure. I was like, oh, crap, this guy's about to rob this place, and he's trying to figure out if I'm leaving or coming or going. And then he goes to me, he goes, oh, I'm sorry. He goes, I may be coming off weird. He goes, but you're the guy Golden something, and your shop's right around here. And, oh, my God, I watched your show, and I'm such a fan. I want to find the shop. And he goes, hold on a second. I'm going to get my kid. Can you take a picture with him? You know, and he pulls his kid. His kid's like half asleep. And is like, he's hanging up, taking a picture with him. To me, it was a great feeling. You know, I mean, like, I wouldn't lie and say, oh, who cares? Like, I love the attention. I love that I could get attention. You know what I mean? If I was doing something I didn't like just to get the attention for it, then it would feel weird. So when someone recognizes you or says, hey, I saw that show you're on, that was really cool. To me, it means a lot because it's something I love so much, I care about so much, and that shows me at least a little tiny bit of it's getting out there, you know. So, you know, but just for the sake of fame, just for fame, you know, I wouldn't want to be famous for breakdancing, I guess, you know.
I worked on The Price is Right for years, and
after
really? It's after one of the shows, we got tickets for the American Idol finale. And it was over at the Hollywood Theater, Hollywood and Highlands, and we get tickets. So I bring the girlfriend or whatever, and afterwards we're walking around Hollywood Boulevard, and someone stops, and I'm not wearing a Price is Right shirt, not a Price is Right hat. Someone point, you're that guy from The Price is Right. We just came to see the show today, and we saw you on stage, and it's like, you shouldn't know who I am. It's like, dude, yeah, and it's just, I wouldn't want to be famous having people point you out. It's better. The voiceover thing is good, and kind of keep quiet.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's I look at it like this: if you could do something good with it, you know, like there are some people that do some, like, you know, people give Paul Senior a lot of crap, but I've seen him do a lot of really good things for people. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so you know, I'm sure it's a curse, like for him, because he's so recognizable. Like we were on my little shitty rowboat, right? And so it's me, Paul, and Nick. My buddy Nick is Paul Senior's nephew. So we're all fishing in my crappy aluminum rowboat. And these guys go behind us. Now, you know, Paul's there, his sleeves off. Paul Senior from 100 yards away. And they literally come around us, and now we're fishing, right? They literally go right in front of our boat. In the smallest, you know what a john boat is, right? It's like a little flat-bottom john boat. It looked like these guys cut one in half and glued it together. It took like 5 feet out. They were almost kissing, right? So they came by, and they're like literally this close. And they're like, is that Paul Senior? Like, to Paul Senior, they're asking him if it's Paul Senior. I'm like, guys, you really can't pull up with that boat. Like, we have to talk about what happened to this boat before we talk about Paul Senior. And they started laughing. But he stopped. He signs autographs out in the lake. And, you know, so I've seen him be chill to people. I've been eating dinner with him, and you have like 20 people staring at you like the whole time you're eating. And I remember saying, like, that's got to be weird. You know, like everywhere you go, there's eyeballs on you, you know?
Well, I feel bad for him to an extent because that was one of the first shows. I think Jesse James and the Monster Garage and the Biker Build-Up was the first reality big car show. And then OCC, the Chopper Show, they came out huge for 5 or 10 years.
Yeah, when it came to ratings.
But they were so volatile, and he and his son Junior fighting back and forth was sort of what the show became about. Yeah. And so I feel bad for him to that extent.
Well, I always say it wasn't a motorcycle show. I feel like it was a family show.
Interesting.
If you're sitting home watching the father yell at the son, someone's going to home. You know, I never had a dad, but I imagine someone could say, wow, that's how me and my dad talk to each other. And that's what I think.
Interesting.
the show because that is real reality, right? Like the argument you just had with your dad, then you sit down and you see it on TV, and then maybe you feel like, oh wow, maybe my life isn't so different than everyone else's, you know? Yeah, I mean, obviously they paid a little bit of family, value for the success. I'm hoping now everything's better. I'm friendly. I'm friendly with Senior, and I'll talk to him once in a while, or I'll just send him something offensive, like a horrible text or something. But I'm really cool with Joan, his girlfriend. She's really she's a sweetheart. She's really good to animals. Matter of fact, I'm bringing a cat to her today that we have trapped at the shop trying to help. So she does like SPCA stuff and that. So
wait a second, you trapped a cat at the shop? What's going on here?
I'm always rescuing animals my whole life. So we had a cat at the shop that kind of wanted to be friendly, but it was like getting beat up outside and stuff. So we took the have a hard trap, and now it's in my spray booth as we speak. The cat's
it's safe. It's not getting painted. It's safe in the booth,
no,
right?
We're not getting painted. No,
okay, good.
Cats.
And Ed's been dealing with bears and everything, man.
Yeah, I got everything
At his house.
Probably a bear. There's a 75% chance there's a bear right outside this wall right now. Bear comes by my house every day. Yeah, every single day, and he wrestles my garbage. And I figured out how to ratchet strap it closed, so the bear will flip it over and leave it upside down, almost as like an FU to me. Literally, the whole garbage can, he'll flip it and land it on its top and leave it like that for me. Literally, like every other day. It's hysterical.
Well, I told you I got a squirrel and raccoon problem. So I don't have a bear problem.
We got everything. We got fox, we have deer, we have hummingbirds, we have every animal you can imagine in my woods.
But usually everything else will sort of run away, but those raccoons, they stand there with their wee little heads.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah,
they creep me out. Yeah.
I came around the corner one night, and there's like the mom, the dad, and like 3 babies. And I come around the corner, and I think they scared me as much as I scared them. They're like trying to climb the wall of the house, going, ah, you know.
Oh, interesting.
And,
okay.
Yeah, we had one walk into the shop a couple weeks ago. So just walked in, then, I think Melanie saw it. Melanie screamed, and then the raccoon went the other way.
Oh, yeah, and the raccoon walks into the shop on its hind legs smoking a cigarette.
If I could teach him how to do body work, I'd have a bunch of them.
Exactly.
Those little hands. Give them little bondo spreaders and little sanders.
And then you can rent him out to Chip Foose, so he wouldn't have to be on the floor at 3 a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he does.
So what's your next project, Ed?
So the Camaro still, hopefully the goal is for next SEMA. I got this little S10 with a small block Chevy. That's my truck that I'm going to make like a shop truck. I'm going to, put our logo on it. I did like a flat black, and it was orange before, so we sanded through and got like a fake patina. It's just basically going to be a cool little shop truck to run around town and go to some local shows and stuff. It's going to have like a really wild system, and, pretty cool.
Hold on. Where was that? I just saw that.
You may have.
It's on Instagram.
Yes, you may have seen it. Yeah, the orange and black.
Where it is. Yeah. I love that orange, that Jeep with the vector wheels on it.
Yeah. That's cool.
That thing's tough.
Yeah, the S10, I can't even touch the gas pedal without spinning the tires, so it should be fun once I actually register it.
And it's a small block, not an LS, a small block.
And the original old school I think it's a 383 in there.
Love it.
Yeah. So nice. I like the LS. I like all that stuff, but for me, it's like it kind of matches the truck a little more. I don't know what I'm going to do with the Camaro yet. I was either going to do a diesel motor or I was going to do an LS, like a supercharger. Then I was thinking of a big blower motor, like going back to like a small block with a 671, which is really what I want to do. I don't know if that's the most popular thing, but to me, there's nothing like a big blower motor sticking out of the hood of a car. I mean, I don't care what you do. We did.
It worked for Hulkamino.
It's one of my favorite cars. Yeah, Chris's car is one of my favorite cars of all time. Yeah, and then, one of my favorite cars of all time.
It was, the running for the Hot Wheels. It's in the running. Yeah, but now, cool. What are they going to do now? Are they going to have a virtual award or something? Because they usually do that at SEMA. So I don't know
Yeah,
what
I don't
they're
know.
what they're
How
gonna
was
do.
your area doing, Mike, after all the riots and all that craziness?
They still are damaging property up here. It's when are they gonna
Bill?
stop? Yeah, they just damaged one of the precincts the other day. Spray painted it, broke windows out. I don't understand. It's not gonna solve anything. I
At
think
all.
no.
Oh.
So no
It's
one can
unfortunate
understand it.
because I think that whole cause got hijacked when you had a moment when the whole world was willing to talk about, police brutality and things that really matter. And I don't think anyone, I don't care where you sit politically, I don't think anyone liked the idea of what happened to Floyd. But there was a good moment to talk about really changing, not defunding the police, but changing, and getting, police officers to stand up against other police officers and get the bad ones out. But you need the good ones there. And I don't think people
Right.
realize what this world's like without police. You need good police. You
Yeah.
need someone to call. If someone's breaking into your mother's house and you're not there, you sure as hell want that phone to answer when you call 911. You know, so I don't
Well,
I don't get it.
at my work, people are coming up to me and just talking to me about the whole situation. I must just be a friendly face or something. But this lady said she's been on the north side of Minneapolis all her life, and she is more scared than she ever has been. And she said there's
Oh,
like groups of people walking around with AK-47s, and she's like, I don't know if they're good or bad,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
that's how it's got because the police they've kind of pulled out of some of those areas, I think, and just don't,
Yeah, but
they
that
they're
to
gonna,
me is, I honestly think that some of these mayors that are telling the cops to stand down, they should be brought up on charges. I mean, I think it should be illegal to tell the police not to protect people and property. I mean,
yeah,
I get it. I get people are upset, and if you want to protest for bad cops, I'm with you 100%. But when you start hurting innocent people and pulling people out of the cars, and there's so many, like there was that they say that guy that got pulled out of the car. I think it was in Portland, out of the white pickup truck, and he got kicked really bad in the head and assaulted by a whole bunch of people. I think they said he died this morning. I don't know if it's true, but I saw it on Facebook. I
yeah.
was like, man, it's really crazy what this world's going through. And then you look at our little world of hot rod guys, and then you realize, you know, well, where are you going to drive your hot rod? You're going to drive your hot rod, and you're going to have a car show in a neighborhood, and all of a sudden you got, 500 people coming down the street breaking car windows and stuff like that. So every time I see a car cruise now, I'm like, wait a minute, is there a protest around the corner? Like, what's going on? It's scary out there.
Well, I went, yeah. Jeff's gonna say something, and then
It kind of makes me it's scary to me a little bit. I'm a regular guy driving around it's my daily driver is a 55 Chevy, and I've been caught in a couple of these protests with guys circling the car on their bicycles with Coronas and their face masks, and it's like it's a little disconcerting. So you've got to be, I don't know what to do. Be safe. How do you be safe? How do you not be? Then if it's a big mess.
Yeah, you put yourself in it. I always say this: it's a different situation if it's just me or if it's me and my daughter. If I have my daughter in the car and you're trying to either A, stop me, or B, get me out of my car, that is not a good place to be. And I don't understand how. I get it. I get there's bad cops out there. I get it that there's cops that do shitty things, but you had a moment to help try and fix that. Now some of the people that would have been listening don't even want to listen anymore because now it almost feels like they're trying to make it an us versus them thing. And when I say them, I mean this Antifa. That's not necessarily a color thing, or it's just unfortunately I feel like some of these groups are hijacking some of these communities for their own intentions.
Agenda.
Yeah, their own agenda, which is sad. So,
and
but I know, Mike, when it happened, I think I was talking to you first. Like you were telling me, like, yeah, they're doing this and they're doing that, and I was like hearing a lot of it from you right from the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, I work down in St. Paul Midway area, which is another area that was hit, and we got evacuated from there. We had to leave, and our place shut down for 5 days. But
Did it get broken into, or
they tried. we had security on the roof spraying with fire hoses. And
Really?
we had barricades probably 20 feet
Holy.
tall in front of our doors. So
Wow.
we were lucky because I'd hate to be one of those guys, and there's a lot of that happened down there in Minneapolis. They came back, they had no job, they didn't have a place to go work because now they're building. What they said, like 330 buildings were damaged or burned or whatever.
Well, let me ask you a question. If you're a company, why would you even rebuild in that area if the government didn't get behind protecting you? That's
They're having that problem right now. There are people pulling out. They had factories and stuff like that.
Are you going to insure? If you're an insurance company, you're going to insure a company that is in one of those areas?
Yeah,
probably not.
I'm not going to Minneapolis. I used to go to the bars down there once in a while for charity events, and I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever go down there.
Well, they're saying all the property around New York is going through the roof because people that have money that lived in New York are trying to get out of New York now because the crime is so bad. Like the murder rate's I think quadrupled now, like literally since all this.
Well, they're not dying from murder, Ed. They're dying from COVID. It's not murder. It's COVID.
Yeah.
To the head is in the COVID. Yeah.
But you know what I think the police are doing across the United States, and I saw it last year actually. They don't agree with some of the government, and they're just saying, yeah, commit your crimes, do whatever. We're not going to be there. I just think that's kind of what their mindset is right now.
I hope not. That's not a good mindset.
Well, it started last year. Street Machine Nationals we have here every year, and they did burnouts along the strip, and they had choppers flying over and stuff the year before, and this year they didn't do a darn thing. And I went up to the police. I go, you didn't give any tickets to anyone? And he said, no, we're not giving tickets. And then he says to his partner, have you written up a ticket this year yet? No.
Wow. And when was this? How long ago was this?
This was last year during Street Machine.
Oh, was this? Okay.
Yeah, right after Street Machine Nationals. So.
Okay.
So we lost Ed.
Yeah.
We lost Ed. I think his internet connection is not the best at his house. So. But yeah, we could probably log off, I guess.
Well, we had a good show with Ed.
He's coming back on. It's a reappearance of Ed.
Oh, there he is.
That was a bad one.
Yeah, but we can always catch up again, man.
Yeah, definitely. I'll try to do it from my shop the next time. But it's great talking to you guys. Nice finally meeting you. I don't know. Ed. For real, but kind of for real.
Yeah. I wanted to meet each other because I wasn't sure if you guys had met. So, Ed, seeing we're having fun doing what we're doing, except when we have bad internet connection.
I think we met briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost.
It's cool, and it's awesome meeting you. Yep, and Mike, I love you. Whatever you need from me, I'm here. Right. Now that this thing's starting to settle down a little bit, hopefully,
Yeah.
I'm around, brother. Did I lose you again?
Internet COVID is what we're dealing with now.
That's it.
All right.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, Ed.
Yeah, no problem. Gold Customs, New York. Ed's on. Tell us where we can find you, Ed. Gold Customs, New York.
Yeah, goldencustomsny.com or Ed Golden, Golden Customs NY on Facebook. Usually official Ed Golden on Instagram or Ed Golden Official. I don't even remember what I am anymore. Ed Golden
Something like that. You'll find them. And then the other thing, do you know when that Mike Rowe show comes out? Do you have any idea? We'll see that. Oh, we lost him. Froze up again. All right. Well, Jeff, till next time.
All right, buddy. Good show. I'll catch you next time, Mike.
Yeah, we'll talk to you later.
All right, sounds good. See you, buddy. Thanks.
All right, we'll see you.
Bye.